Here is your AI briefing for June 10, 2026, with 12 stories. Story 1. ChatGPT shopping results are being hijacked by scammers. Scammers are using lookalike storefronts and data poisoning to steer ChatGPT shopping suggestions toward fraud, raising risk for shoppers who trust AI-generated retailer links. Fraudsters poison retrieved product data so the model ranks counterfeit merchants higher than legitimate ones. Shoppers can be routed to credential theft pages before checkout. Scammers didn't hack ChatGPT, they hacked its trust layer, turning shopping links into a phishing mall where shoppers and honest merchants both lose. Story 2. Apple goes agentic. Welcome to the new Siri. Apple's agentic Siri with Apple Intelligence aims to execute multi-step tasks via tool-using actions rather than simple voice commands, bringing faster, more autonomous help to supported devices. Developers can invoke approved app functions so Siri can complete chained requests like scheduling, messaging, and reminders without switching apps. That shifts Apple Intelligence from interpretation to delegated execution across supported iPhone, iPad, and Mac devices. Agentic Siri is just Apple finally catching up to demos Google showed years ago, except now the pitch is multi-step tasks instead of faster timers. Story 3. The scientific reason we can't pause AI. AI safety researchers warn that attempts to pause deployment fail because frontier models iterate faster via training pipelines, scaling compute, and autonomous tooling, raising risk before governance catches up. Researchers say model capabilities improve through parallel training runs, automated evaluation, and fresh data ingestion even when one release is delayed. That makes coordination harder because labs and downstream users can keep pushing the frontier without a single choke point. Pause AI dies on contact with compute budgets and automated pipelines. The winners are frontier labs, the losers are regulators still thinking in meeting cycles. Story 4. Can voice agents handle bilingual customers? Benchmarking frontier ASR on code-switched speech. Researchers benchmark frontier ASR on code-switched bilingual voice traffic, quantifying how recognition accuracy changes across language mixing rates and improving agent fallback routing for mixed utterances. The benchmark scores recognition separately for monolingual and mixed language spans to expose where word errors spike. Contact centers can use those results to trigger human transfer or language-specific prompts sooner. Useful for call routing. But this benchmark mostly tells vendors how often bilingual customers get shoved into the dreaded "please repeat that" loop. Story 5. Anthropic releases Mythos-class Claude 5, triggering tech race across Amazon, AWS, and Microsoft Foundry. Anthropic's Mythos-class Claude 5 rollouts expand AWS and Microsoft Foundry model availability, accelerating deployment cycles and intensifying the AI capability race across major cloud platforms. The rollout puts Claude 5 into enterprise workflows on AWS and Microsoft's developer stack, giving teams direct access through both cloud ecosystems. That wider distribution pressures rival vendors to match model quality, latency, and integration speed. Rename it whatever you want, but the real winners are AWS and Microsoft's model catalogs, not users just faster access to another Claude-shaped arms race. Story 6. Can tech companies learn to love cheaper AI models? Researchers at major AI firms explore routing workloads to smaller, cheaper models, aiming to cut inference cost by tens of % while maintaining target quality metrics for production systems. The routing approach sends easy prompts to compact models and reserves larger systems for harder queries, lowering compute spend without changing the user-facing product. Teams are using offline evaluations and production telemetry to decide which requests can be safely downshifted. Routing work to cheaper models is the unglamorous truth of AI. The winners are CFOs and the losers are anyone selling frontier for every query. Story 7. Anthropic opens most powerful AI model to public with safeguards. On Tuesday, Anthropic released Fable 5 to the public from its new Mythos class, adding guardrails that restrict sensitive uses after prior Mythos access was limited over cybersecurity risks. The public release widens access to the model, but keeps high-risk capabilities blocked by policy filters and usage limits. That gives enterprises and developers a chance to test the system while reducing exposure to abuse cases that prompted earlier restrictions. Anthropic's public launch is a guarded release, not a breakthrough. Cybersecurity concerns still set the terms, which means the model ships with a leash, not freedom. Story 8. Apple tightens App Store rules, warns developers stagnant and unpopular apps could be removed. Apple's new App Store rules require developers to sustain user engagement or risk removal, with enforcement tied to ongoing popularity metrics rather than initial approval. Games, subscriptions, and other apps that fail to maintain active use can lose App Store distribution even after passing review. Developers must now track retention and engagement continuously to avoid delisting. Apple is turning the App Store into a subscription-style popularity contest, where small developers lose twice, once to discovery algorithms, then to deletion. Story 9. Apple unveils next-gen intelligence, Siri AI, and teases iOS 27 features. At WWDC, Apple revealed a profoundly more capable Siri AI and will roll it across iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, and Vision Pro, signaling a major leap toward iOS 27 features. Apple says the upgraded assistant can reason across apps, surface context from the device, and handle more complex multi-step requests. The rollout targets the company's core ecosystem, tying its AI push to hardware sales and future operating system upgrades. Apple's profoundly more intelligent Siri sounds like keynote incense until it ships. For now, the concrete win is one UI across 6 devices. Story 10. Fluid, natural voice translation with Gemini 3.5 Live Translate. The feature combines speech recognition, translation, and synthesis so participants hear translated audio with less delay than traditional relay tools. That lowers friction for live meetings, studio workflows, and consumer chats across language barriers. Near real-time translation sounds sleek until you notice the winners are Google's demos and the losers are anyone still hearing robotic latency in every live call. Story 11. Inside the new Siri AI and the privacy paradox of Apple Intelligence. At WWDC Monday, Apple demoed Siri AI that fetched FIFA schedules online, built a watch party menu from both teams' cuisines, mined your messages history for coconut cookies, and drafted group chat invites without opening apps, intensifying Apple Intelligence privacy trade-offs. The assistant pulled live web data, personal messages, and app-level context to assemble a plan without requiring users to switch tools. That breadth of access makes Apple's privacy promises central because the system depends on deep permissioned access to intimate data. Apple's demo sells magic. Yet the fine print is your messages history getting mined for coconut cookies, so Siri can feel helpful without feeling creepy. Story 12. Raptive launches Raptive Intelligence, appoints John Roa as Chief AI Officer and acquires Alchemy AI. Raptive launched Raptive Intelligence, naming John Roa as Chief AI Officer and acquiring Alchemy AI to build a trusted infrastructure layer that converts creator expertise and consumer intent into AI grounding, commerce intelligence, and agentic discovery. Alchemy AI brings data and workflow assets that Raptive can use to structure creator knowledge for machine retrieval and monetization. The move positions the company to sell AI-enabled commerce and recommendation tools to brands and publishers. Raptive is repackaging creator data as AI infrastructure, where the real winners are ad tech margins and the losers are publishers sold a buzzword stack. That is the briefing for today.